Welcome back to Transformers. This season, I've had the pleasure of interviewing CIOs, CTOs, fill in the blank O's, and each brought a unique story and perspective. The thing that continues to strike me with every episode is how important the human side of transformation is and what we're trying to do in this new world of AI. I want to revisit some of my favorite moments with you and talk about some lessons I think we could all stand to hear again. AI can be a tool and a partner, but not a replacement for humans. Leadership is about empathy. And sometimes you have to talk about the elephants in the room before you can move forward. I'm your host, Dan Fanai, and this is Transformers, a Think podcast. AI should not be replacing people. Like any tool, it should empower the user and work alongside you. Early in my career, I had a job where I was replacing batch files on personal computers and in office. Today, we're talking about AI agents being members of our team. It's a pretty big step. It's a lot of progress, and it is still human-led.
AI is not a human being. And when I say this here's the distinction that everybody has to know. Number one, when a human makes mistakes, they learn from errors, right? So a human goes through and they go and do something. And let's say they do something stupid and they learn from their mistake from that. When they do the same thing over again, the human might actually make the same choice again, or they might make something that's totally irrational. Another thing that was never even a variable that was never even presented the first time for this very same situation. When a machine learns from everything that is given to them from a human. Now, a human can't think of all the different ways, logical and illogical, to give a machine. So the human mind is vastly more complicated than AI.
Machines are very good at automating specific workflows. They're very good at that. Machines are not good at creativity. Machines are not good at the task that they're not trained on.
When we first started, when these sort of models came out, I wouldn't let my development team use AI for writing any code. I wasn't confident in it. I wasn't sure that they were going to evaluate it, that they were going to run it through the same processes and checks. Now we've gotten comfortable. We have a process around it. And if they want to use AI for code generation, I'm actually okay with it if it's done the right way.
We began to understand that, this isn't really a sales scalability tool. So instead of doubling our sales staff, Thomas is on 24/7. He's got all the collective knowledge of the Falcon Store team and then some, right? Because obviously he's built on large language models, and then we train him up on other things.
That is my team, which is very different way of thinking that we have now humans and machines treated together, that they're going to jointly work on a task.
So let's all stop chasing the AI hype and start solving real problems with the right tools and the right mindsets. Speaking of right tools and right mindsets, let's shift our focus back to the employees in the field, the people using the technology. Transformation is not just about efficiency. It is about giving people back the time to do the most important work that matters most to them. I've seen and felt this firsthand. When we roll out a new tool at IBM, the most meaningful feedback isn't about how fast we rolled out a tool or that it is a new tool. It is about the fact that a tool made someone's day easier, made someone's life easier, or made just a task they didn't love doing a much simpler or maybe non-existent task.
That's where I think the future is headed, is folks that are understanding how to leverage it to move faster or more efficient or more effective or create better experiences for themselves are going to be in the lead, as opposed to those that are maybe resisting it.
But let's say an 8-hour day happens and a caregiver spends 7 of those hours on administrative task and only 1 hour on family. But what if we could use tools to flip that and they spend 8 hours talking, communicating, embracing, and trying to care for families and their kids?
We spend a lot of time talking about on the ground and with our partners on the ground, and we have many of them, is you have to ramp the human agency and the human element Even more so when you're bringing AI in. It is not a displacement measure, and it's not an outsourcing or dangerous mechanism. It's meant to personalize and give them control and give them power.
So what's the lesson here? When we design with purpose, when we keep employees and humans at the center, we build systems that serve the people and not the other way around. And speaking of humans at the core, transformation isn't just for humans, it's actually led by humans. Who are the people behind the successful transformations? It's really employees who are just empowered by their leadership, empowered by leaders who listen, give clarity, build trust, and show up.
I believe a lot in being a visible leader. And the higher up you get, the job that we're in is the job that we're in. But the human impact that we can have on helping others come along is a huge responsibility.
Development of people is probably my favorite thing in my job. If you're in management and you're in leadership, if you don't like developing people, then have a think about why you're in leadership.
Rule number 1 is identify right people for the job. Rule number 2, very clearly articulate what you want them to do and provide strategic guidance. Rule number 3, stay out of the way. And basically, don't micromanage. If you trust that this are the right people for the job, empower them, give them a sense of authority, and let them do the job.
Can we bring them along, and can they lead the change? Because when we lead the change from the top, it's a push. When we're able to create a change from the bottoms up, it's a pull, and then pull always makes it sustainable.
Leadership means a responsibility to other humans, not just a bottom line or a brand. When we lead with empathy, specifically in the days today of tight deadlines, high demands, heightened emotions, you know what? That empathy, that is the work that makes transformation stick. We talk about getting the strategy right, but real talk. You can do all of that and transformation's still going to be messy. One analogy I use with my team, we oftentimes find ourselves standing in a room, scooping elephant poop and ignoring the elephants around us. And yes, I have said that on recording calls, and I've now said that on a podcast. But really, managing the problem and recognizing and acknowledging the problem is the first step towards fixing it.
Really, it doesn't matter what type of business, what sort of industry you're in. We all face a lot of similar challenges.
We've got to really drive on simplicity and security. I think those two real technical challenges are going to drive success.
I see more now CIOs moving from panic or paralysis to more panic. If you don't anchor that use case on a real business problem, and it's just technology for the sake of technology, it's hard to scale that, or it's hard to extract the benefits from it. So I'm trying to bring folks together to say, think more about where AI is complementing your strategic business priorities. That's one part of it. The second piece is this rush to build something. People are building bespoke. They are wanting to create their own. They're wanting to DIY. But to implement that back into their existing stack is proving to be challenging.
AI on top of crap, still kind of just crap. You're investing in the past. You know, what you're doing is you're both trying to transform your business at the same time as get the most out of AI.
We have this really unique moment in time to weave together very relevant, meaningful, and effective solutions. But it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot, and it takes far longer than you think.
Do your teams and your transformations a favor. Call out the elephants. When we face these challenges and face the misalignment, this is when real change begins. AI is only as good as the data it's built on. You can't skip the hard work of cleaning up. You can't skip the hard work of aligning your systems, processes, and data. And as a leader, you need to put in the work to support the humans working with the data and the systems. That's the magic that happens.
Right. So if people only understood that every AI solution you want to build, however you want to leverage AI, whatever you want to do, comes down to the data you have in your organization.
Data is everything. You know, data is our business. It's what we talk to customers about every day, how to protect it, how to use it, how to improve it, how to store it.
Tax is full of two things, data and patterns. So it's ripe for AI, right? It's perfect for AI, but you're going to need people to interpret it to make sure, as Kanti said, technically correct.
When I think about tech savviness, it's like as we build our understanding of these, ranges of customer needs and customer channel preferences, we need to understand where there is technology that can activate on that data to better personalize the experiences.
One of the more obvious patterns of challenges around data is just the overwhelm of, yes, I've got my data in all these spaces and places, or, in some cases, CIOs are starting by saying, yeah, I've got my lakes, I've got my warehouses. Is it clean? Is it usable? Is it something that an LLM can understand, digest, process near real time? Because that's what you really need for an autonomous agent to be able to perform and act like us, to be able to extract it near real time and to be able to activate it throughout the organization.
The other piece of the AI puzzle, governance, transparency, and guidelines. When you have all of that, it is the absolute foundation for success.
Responsible AI to me basically means both transparent decision making and at the same time extensive guardrails to prevent AI from doing anything harmful or anything stupid.
If you don't know how to work with AI or how to work with these language models, and again, understand what the inputs mean, what the training mean, what the outputs mean, and then you talk about governance on top of all of that. If you don't understand all of that, then absolutely it's not ready. But it's not that the technology is not ready. It's quite frankly that you're not ready for it.
The takeaway here, when we put data in the hands of people who need it and have the right governance and rules, we unlock better decisions and better outcomes and better possibilities with AI.
Either use AI or you don't. Those that do will have jobs. It's as simple as that. And to me, that kind of takes the fear off the table.
Let's talk about how it augments what we do. Let's talk about how we reshape our profession in this greatest revolution. I mean, it's here to stay, like you said. It's not going anywhere. So then how do we play a part?
We all started with predictive AI has been around for years and years. And like AI is not new. And then was it about 2.5 years ago, generative had come onto the scene. To me, the third wave is this autonomous agentic AI. There is so much fear and uncertainty around this third wave of AI. Much of it stems from misunderstandings and uncertainty about what the future of AI holds for agents at work and the role they will play.
I kind of don't really sit in the camp that AI is going to take everyone's jobs off them. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think that AI is going to enable people to do more with what they've got and to be able to deliver more value. And that's the conversation we're having with customers.
We will definitely have large-scale teams of agents working directly with a team of humans that serve both as, if you will, human in a loop, as a creative spark, and also as a program manager. Right, so humans will have to rethink of themselves as the starting piece of a puzzle, but more as a manager of a highly specialized team.
And the businesses that are on a forefront start to use agents, agentic AI, as a fully independent tools that can get tasks execute all the way to the finish line and then ask for human approval. It's no longer, for lots of people, AI just means a nice chat interface within Visual Studio or within Outlook or within, something like that. Agents are dramatically changing that approach. Now, digital workers, digital agents actually become fully fledged members of teams.
The idea of multi-agentic AI system is where you have each agent which is focused on a particular task, and there's multiple LLMs under the hood that are fighting with each other for the right solution. And then right in the middle of it, you also have a supervisor agent. The supervisor agent's job is to ensure that that all the tasks are done appropriately. Now, in the process, there's a full audit of all the decisions that are being made. This way, you know at any given point which agent made the decision, what actually required the decision, and also at what point did a human intervene and said this is right or this is wrong.
trust can't just be bolted on as an afterthought. And I think that we've got to start to look at our architecture and our ecosystems to say, how is the data governed? How do you set parameters for an agent? Like I always think about the anatomy of an agent. This helps maybe ground people. I think about the anatomy of an agent like me joining Salesforce or anyone joining any company. I had a job description and the agent needs that job description. When I joined, someone had to provision data for me. I can have access to this data. I can't see payroll data. Understandably, I don't need it for my role. Similarly, for an agent, you've got to be able to administer or grant access to data. When I joined, I needed a channel. I needed like physical laptop or a meeting space or, a space like this where I'm meeting with customers and colleagues. Agent needs the exact same thing. The fourth thing was I needed KPIs. Like I'm going to be measured. What am I going to be measured on? What are the actions that I'm going to perform that will eventually show up? An agent needs that specificity. And then the last thing that I always typically say is I will take my access card and say there are doors that I can open and there are doors that I can't open. And it's controlled by this access card. If we think about AI agents in the same form, there are doors that can open and doors can't open. That's when you kind of pan back and go, wow, how do I create the environment or space where agents can perform autonomously across defined actions and outputs, yet at the same time know that it's safe and secure?
I believe the future of management and the future for the workforce is humans and AI working side by side. And that can mean really, really great things when done right. Every episode, I ask the question, what does transformation mean? It's a question that's even kept me up at night on more than one occasion. And look, as much as I'd love to blame the producer who wrote the show intro, it really is a simple question. And it has such a beautiful and complex range of answers.
Transformation isn't one note, like it's constantly happening.
I always felt like transformation was all about only technology. And because growing up as a technologist, being an engineer, from my career, I always thought technology transformation is the epitome of everything. And then came the next phase of the transformation is actually doing the business value transformation itself. And then, bringing the member into the middle of everything or the customer into the middle of everything. And what is the customer seeing when we transform these organizations?
I think the conversation with customers is much more about enablement, transformation. Customers are very well aware. They're very educated.
The pace of the technology doesn't decide the transformation. It's always the cultural acceptance of a change that sets the pace for the transformation.
We've all heard about EQ. We've all heard about IQ, but I think every CIO right now should be thinking about AQ, adaptability quotient. AQ is the new Q that I'm talking to a lot of folks about. And what I mean by adaptability quotient is it's certainly a mindset. To have that adaptable and open mindset is one part. But a bigger part of this is the adaptability quotient of your tech stack. As a CIO, where it is hard to predict a future that is changing so wildly right now, is how can you think about a stack that you have today that is adaptable to the existing technologies, so it's not a rip and replace?
Still, the hardest part of any transformation and the most complicated part is the humanity, our own humanness. It's not good or bad. It is what it is.
Transformation is not at all purely transformational. Is not technological, I should say. It's actually deeply human.
Transformation can't be done in isolation. And that it really requires alignment cross-functionally in order to be effective. And that cross-functional alignment can't just stay at the top. It needs to cascade down into the working teams.
My biggest learning has been, if I can detect that they're committed to the change, that project is always successful. That at the end of the day, it is the associates, the humans that are actually making things happen.
I ask every guest, I start every episode with, what does transformation mean? And I've given it a lot of thought myself. To me, transformation is the totality of behaviors and mindsets, understanding why you do things, the choices you've made, understanding how technology supports decisions and business outcomes. And it is every discipline across an organization working together, believing in positive intent from each other, believing there's something greater they're trying to achieve together. And that, to me, is really the best description of the best transformations. I truly hope this season gave you a few new ideas, insights, and hopefully we made you laugh a few times along the way. I want to thank my amazing guests. I learned so much from every one of you, and it's been truly an honor to get to know each of you this season. I would be remiss if I didn't also, thank my production team. They keep me honest, they keep me laughing, and I have gotten much better at this and become a better person because of knowing all of them. And finally, to all of you, the audience, thank you for joining me on this journey. From our team to yours, wish you all have a happy and safe holiday season.